Hello, everyone. It's me, Coffee Stitcher. It is the last Sunday before Christmas. How is everybody? Awesome. That's great to hear. I have, because it is the last one before Christmas, I have donned me now my gay apparel. I'm wearing a really, really tacky charm bracelet that I got at Macy's that has the 12 Days of Christmas on it. I have another charm bracelet that's less tacky. I have little pink flamingos wearing Santa hat earrings on. So I have donned me now my gay apparel. Fa la 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 la. Um, I know that was a terrible joke. I'll see myself out. So I've got my usual Q&A. I've got some haul. I've got whip updates. Not many, but I have whip updates. And then I have something very, very lovely that I'm going to be sharing with y'all that if you're on Instagram, you've already seen, but that's okay. All right, so the Q&A, the first two questions come from Adam Dunn. His first one he says, I've joined about 10 sals for the new year. Any tips for passing them by? No. It's one of those things, and I'm pretty sure, Adam, you're a newish stitcher, so you're still in that phase where you're finding your legs. I know when I first started, it was like, I'm going to join all the sales, and then eventually you sort of figure out, you know what, I don't enjoy this designer, so I'm not going to do this sal. Or you know what, I really like the sound of this theme, but let me see how this plays out before I get involved. Sometimes it works in your favor. In my case, this year's cross stitcher, Alice in Wonderland Sal. I'm really glad I held off on that. And in other cases, there have been ones that they've released, and I thought, you know what, I really do want to join in on this one. And so I have. Like Dark Queen. So it's one of those sorts of things. You kind of have to learn as you go. You will very usually quickly learn, you know what, this isn't my sort of thing. And then there's sometimes, case in point with last year's Modern Folk Embroidery, I love the pattern, but the way the pattern was broken up, it was messing with it. It was causing me confusion. So I said, you know what, I'm going to wait until the whole pattern's out, and then I'll pick it back up. And there's nothing wrong with that either. He also asks, what do you do with your mini finishes? Well, they currently go in a bag, or they get sent to Oliver, which I'm getting some back this week, which I'm excited to see what I'm getting back. The goal in the next year, my mother-in-law is moving out January 1st. She gets remarried January 2nd. She's moving. So my plan is to turn her room into my Oz/craft room, which will probably also mean new filming location again. But I'm looking forward to it, and one of the things I'm excited for is I'll finally have the space to set up a sewing machine and other things. So my plan is to actually learn how and do some actual FFOing of pieces that I've got, at least for things that I don't want framed. So I'm excited. We'll see what happens. Amy M121 asks, or says, I love your stocking behind you. Did you make it? That's this one. It is a Busilla kit. It first came out in 2010, went out of print. They've actually reissued it this year. It came out last month, the end of November. So it's available again. It was a lot of fun to stitch. It did take me about 3 months altogether to get it done. But I had an absolute blast doing it. So highly, highly would recommend it. There's also a set of ornaments. There's 4 of them. It's the 4 friends. So there's that too. I would like to say thank you to the people who corrected my pronunciation of Huga, or Huga, or Huge, depending on, I guess there's a couple of variations. It's the one that I am pronounced correctly called Higgy last week. So I do appreciate the correction on that so that I don't continue making that mistake going forward. I still need to kit it up too. Christy Jean, or maybe Janae, asks what I would recommend for curly hair or more dimension to give more dimension to hair. Specifically relating to doing a skin conversion, she's doing the walking in the Mary Englebright kit that I've got, the walking toward the sun, and she wants to convert the girl on that. The My suggestions to her, particularly if you're wanting super curly hair, would be to use Whisper and do French knots. There's a Just Another Button Company pattern out there that does that, and it looks really, really cool, and it gives it a really nice curly effect. If you're wanting something more akin to like dreadlocks, you could try a bullion stitch. I've never done it, but looking at it, that's kind of that was the impression I got for it. I looked at it and thought, oh, that would actually make really good dreadlocks. Weaving Rainbow suggests pencil roving. I don't know enough about that to really have a fair gauge one way or the other. But I would definitely go towards a wool thread or Whisper to give it a more hair-like quality, and then go from there. But it'll probably take some experimenting. And that is the end of the Q&A. All right, so this week's haul. So first up, not quite stitchy, but sort of stitchy related, I got my planner for next year. It is a happy planner. It is the Disney Princess one. And I got it at Joann's because it was 50% off. And I thought, okay. So it has Ariel, Sleeping Beauty, and Tiana throughout it. So I missed journaling. I enjoyed it. It, I think, helped with some of my stitching anxiety. Which that's not really the right term, but that's the one I'm going to go with. But then after J.K. Rowling really turned so awful, I felt weird using my Harry Potter sampler, and then I kind of got out of the habit of it. So I'm going to really try hard to do it this year. I'm also planning to do at least try and keep up doing daily 30. And we'll see how I do with magical stitches. I did volunteer to be a helper, but we'll see. All right. So I got my nest egg from 3 Owls, or from 3 Owl Threads, I should say. This month came with Mint Julep, Misty Gold, Molten Mocha, and Moonstone. Boop. So there they are, all nice and sparkly. And then my Gentle Art wools. We're getting towards the end of those, so I need to figure out what floss I'm going to switch to after this. So we've got Sage, Ruby Slipper, and Roasted Marshmallow. We've got Shaker White, Soot, and Silver Fern. And Schoolhouse Red. So we've got some very lovely colors for that. All right, then I got my order from Forbidden Fiber Company, who I'd never ordered from before, but Michelle is always showing off her stuff from them, and now that they're doing some embroidery thread, I just thought they were too cool. So I ordered Scarecrow. I don't know if it was specifically Wizard of Oz Scarecrow or not, but I still ordered it because it was a cool color. Black Hole. Some of these were ordered off their name, some off the color. Fern, because who doesn't love a good green? Winifred. Lemon Curd, because I always need some good yellows. And last but not least, Blush and Bashful, or Pank and Pank. And if you don't get that that quote, you need to watch Steel Magnolias. You'll laugh, you'll cry, and then you'll laugh some more. Then on Friday, I went down to Stitch Niche. I needed to get a couple of fibers for Alice because I made some decisions. And so, of course, while I was there, I had to get some other things. So I got Casting a Spell from Blackbird Designs. I had this once upon a time, and then I decided I was never going to do it. I got rid of it. And then I decided I did want to do it, so I had to rebuy it. So, I will not be using the called for fabric color. I may not even use the called for floss colors. We'll see. It'll be an adventure. But there it is. And then I got this because it was super cute. It's Winter's Peace from Summer House Stitchworks. So it's done in just 2 colors. And makes a cute little pillow. And I bought the finishing kit for it, which comes with the sparkly garland, the backing fabric, and the snowflake charm. So I got those. Thus endeth the haul. So this week, lunches were a little weird this week. I stitched Monday. Tuesday I didn't. Wednesday I did. Thursday I didn't. And I was off Friday. So I really didn't get a whole lot done on Beatrix Potter. I got a little bit more of her dress done. So I got, like, that done. I have decided I'm going to change this floss color. It really doesn't show up very well contrast-wise. So I'm going to go for a darker blue. So that'll be the next... What I'll probably do this week is frog out those stitches. And then keep working on her dress. Hi, buddy. Hi, miss. Yes, he'll be home soon. Other daddy had to go to PetSmart to get their FOOD, and they're a little bit beside themselves. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. So this week I worked on Alice in Wonderland from Satsuma Street. Oof. Hey, hey, hey. If you're going to do that over there. They're wrestling a little bit, but they're getting a little close to the table. This is a surprisingly dense stitch. I didn't realize it. It's taken me all week. Now, granted, I did take out time, for those of you who follow me on Instagram, I did take out time to build the Lego Sesame Street set. So this is where I'm at on it. I'm hoping I'll finish it probably either today or tomorrow after I finish up Christmas Carol. Hey, calm down, you two. So here's where I'm at. What I decided to do, I got wool to do the back of the caterpillar, which I'm using at Karen Collection. I'm going to overstitch the top stitch of the things that I feel like need metallic. With some metallics, so I bought some metallics. I'm going to do the cat in wool as well. I'll do the March Hare and the Dormouse in wool. I'm going to use white fuzzy stuff for the hair on the Mad Hatter. And then I'm going to do pink fuzzy stuff, I think, for the Flamingo Croquet Mallet. So, but my plan is to at least finish up the caterpillar the next day or so, so I can rotate to something else. Which sort of brings me, well, we'll come back to that. And then I didn't get finished because we had a lot going on yesterday, so I didn't quite finish Christmas Carol yesterday, but here's where I'm at. I've got the border to finish and the words and then a little bit of the fill-in. So I'm almost done. She did release 3 smalls to go with it that I think I'm going to work on as well, just to justify how I botched up using this fabric so badly. But here it is. So it's very sparkly shiny. So that brings me, we'll talk a little bit about next year. I've been going back and forth. I am still going to do WIPGO. I need to make my board. That's going to have to be this week, I think. Oh, hello. Still got to figure out my WIPGO board. And I've got to, and I think some of it is because I dropped the challenge groups and I quit doing the journaling. I'm feeling like I'm not getting good progress. I feel like I'm sort of spinning wheels. So one of the things I'm really going to try to work on next year, and amongst everything else that I'm working on, is I think trying to, I don't know. We haven't figured that out yet. I've enjoyed kind of spending a week with Alice. So I may go back. Once upon a time I used to do that. I would pick a project, I'd work on it for a week. And then rotate to something else again. Now, granted, it was easier to do back when I did that because I only had like 6 projects. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see how I handle that. So I'm kind of thinking that may be what I need to do because there's projects that I really like, but I don't really feel like I'm getting enough time in on them. So I'm thinking about going back to doing a week a piece on projects. Still keep the weekends for stitch-alongs, but keep a week for each project and see how I do. So, anyhow, so the next piece, if you've already seen this on Instagram, please don't feel like you need to hang around for it, but you're welcome to. So, as many of y'all know, my father passed away back at the end of October from COVID. Yesterday in the mail, I got this beautiful wall hanging from, and it's got 12 different Quakers from several of my friends. Go in a little closer so you can kind of get a good look at them. Whoop. And this will be hanging up. My plan, if I can make it work, is to have it hanging up behind me in the new craft room, where everyone can see it. So, this is what I wrote. This was, of course, written yesterday, so. I've been struggling all day with how to put into words how truly blessed I am to have such wonderful friends in this community. I debated sharing it publicly because it is so deeply personal and wonderful, and I don't want to give specific names because I don't want anyone to feel upset that they weren't included in making the wall hanging. Like I said, my father passed at the end of October from COVID. I was fortunate that my dad and I had a good, if not always perfect, relationship. And as is to be expected, his loss is definitely difficult. And partially is just the standard loss of a parent. Part of it also is that we didn't really have a service. I didn't get to go see him one last time. None of this has been the way it should be, quite honestly. So it's made the process very different, very, in some ways, difficult. And in some ways, I still just can't quite believe that it happened. So, yesterday I received the wall hanging from some some very dear friends. It's got 11 individually stitched Quaker motifs, each stitched by a different friend and each one different from the others. It also has the quote, "Do not weep over me, for I am not here. I loved deeply, lived fully. Please do not shed a tear." And it's an appropriate quote for my dad. He did live very fully and very deeply. And as I've joked on more than one occasion, I'm a little worried about the stock in in Heaven's Kitchen since he got there, because dear boy, did that man love to eat. However, the thing that stands out the most for me about it is how incredibly happy this would have made my dad. Growing up, as you can probably imagine, I was a unique child. I didn't make friends very easily or really at all, especially not until I got into high school. And I was frequently bullied and teased, and I know he really worried about me making friends and finding a place in the world. And he would be really thrilled to know that I found a group of people who, outside of family, outside of my husband, who of course I love dearly, but that I found a group of people that would care enough for and about me to organize this. He'd be comforted to know that his little boy, as it were, had found someone that accepts my flaws, flamboyance, foibles, and flaws. I've thanked everyone who contributed individually. And I don't have the words to express just how much I appreciate, how thankful and how grateful I am for you. And that extends as well to those who did not contribute either. And I don't want anyone to feel left out. The fact that y'all tune in every week to hear about my stitching, to ask me questions about stitching, that you followed us over to Stitch Mania, the talk show, which we will be live with, should be tomorrow, maybe Tuesday at the latest, but we'll have it very, very soon. I can't begin to tell you how good that makes me feel, and how much I do truly and deeply appreciate it. 2020 has been a dark year. There's no way to slice it that's not one of the most appropriate descriptors for this year. So let's step into the light in 2021. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. That's about all I can say. So, again, thank you to everyone out there in the dark, as it were, to borrow a turn of phrase from Norma Desmond. Thank you for letting me be a part of your lives, and thank you for being a part of mine.